Linear repeated factors. Example 2 asks me to decompose 2x minus 1 over x plus 1 squared into partial fractions. And another word for, I could even have used the word resolve as I did in the previous example. So if we have a look at the denominator, you notice that we can expand the denominator. And if we rewrite this, we have 2x minus 1 all over. The denominator will be x plus 1, x plus 1. So my denominator now has the same factor of x plus 1 and it's repeated. So once again, I'm going to separate my denominators and write it down using the letters A and B. So looking at the left-hand side, I am going to write it as A over x plus 1 plus B, my second fraction, x plus 1 times x plus 1 or x plus 1 squared. And the reason why I'm doing this is because if I want my final denominator, once I've added or subtracted the fractions, to be x plus 1 squared, then one of the denominators has to be x plus 1 squared. And this once again gives me the fraction 2x minus 1 over x plus 1, x plus 1. So once again, I'm going to simplify the left-hand side, and I see that I need to multiply A by x plus 1 because my lowest common denominator, my LCD here, is going to be x plus 1 squared, or x plus 1 times x plus 1. So I'll multiply A by x plus 1. B, it needs to be multiplied by 1 because the denominator of B is the same as the lowest common denominator. And so I write B equals to 2x minus 1. So once again, I'm going to remove brackets on the left-hand side, and I have ax plus a plus b equals to 2x minus 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to equate like terms. So I'm going to equate all the terms that have an x. So I have ax equals to 2. So I have ax equals to 2x. And if ax equals to 2x, I know that the value of a is 2. I'm going to repeat this process with the constants. So for my constants, I have a plus b must equal to negative 1. Because a is a constant, b is a constant, and negative 1 is a constant. And this forms the next equation. So I already know that a equals to 2. So I use this value and I substitute it into my second equation. So I have 2 plus b equals to negative 1. So b is negative 3. So now I substitute this into my expression above. So seeing that a has a value of 2, I write it as 2 over x plus 1. B has a value of negative 3 over x plus 1 squared. And this can be simplified further as a, which is 2 over x plus 1, and a negative times a positive. I'll multiply the signs here and I simplify further, and that gives me minus 3 over x plus 1 squared. So I have broken it up or resolved or decomposed into partial fractions. We could use the cover-up method to find one of the numerators. However, the cover-up method will only give me the value of b. So we know that the factor is x plus 1. So, and if I equate this to 0, I got x equals to negative 1. What I'm going to do is substitute x equals to negative 1 into the right-hand side. So I'm going to just write down what I'm doing here. I'm going to go 2 times negative 1 minus 1. because what we do is we cover up the denominator. So if you cover up the denominator, you're going to get the value of -3, and so b is going to equal to -3. So we substitute the value of b equals to -3 into the left-hand side. So once again, I have a over x plus 1. b equals to -3. I'm going to write it as -3 over x plus 1 squared will equal to, my fraction was 2x minus 1 over x plus 1 squared. I now need to find the lowest common denominator to work out a. So there's no shortcuts to finding a. So once again, we see the denominator is x plus 1 squared, and a must be multiplied by the missing factor of the denominator, which is x plus 1. So a times x plus 1. b's value is -3, and this equals to 2x minus 1. So there's a few ways in which you can find a, but I think the simplest one is you first remove the brackets here, so you distribute a into the bracket, and so you have ax plus a minus 3 equals to 2x minus 1. And looking at this expression, we can once again equate all of the like terms, and in this situation I'm going to equate ax equals to 2x because they contain the same variable. So I got ax equals to 2x, and so again I find a equals to 2. So my fraction will be 2 over x plus 1 minus 3 over x plus 1 squared equals to 2x minus 1 over x plus 1 squared.